You head downstairs, craving coffee to steady your nerves. The kitchen feels colder than yesterday, and you notice the basket of apples on the counter looks wrong. One fruit, bruised and soft, like it aged overnight. You toss it out, uneasy, and sit with Clara's journal, hoping to find something to make sense of it all. A new entry catches your eye. Elias says the grove is forever. I laughed at first, but now I feel it, like it's breathing with me. He wants me to stay, but I'm scared. You frown, the words too close to what you're feeling, that pull toward the pines, that sense of something watching. You decide to talk to Lila again, needing someone to ground you. You walk to her cottage, the morning air crisp, the grove looming to your left. You keep your eyes on the road, refusing to look at the trees, but you can feel them, their presence like a whisper at your back. Lila answers the door, her face softening when she sees you. You look like you haven't slept, she says, ushering you inside. You sit in her cozy living room, the smell of lavender calming you, and tell her about the locket, the woman in the grove, and the dream. You hesitate before mentioning the sigh, afraid she'll think you're losing it, but she just listens, her expression grave. Clara wore that locket every day, Lila says, her voice low. After Elias died, she'd hold it, like it was all she had left of him. I told her to take it off, but she wouldn't. Said it was their promise. You ask what kind of promise, and Lila shakes her head. I don't know the details. Clara got secretive toward the end, but she believed the grove held them together, like it was more than just a place. She pauses, her eyes searching yours. You're feeling it too, aren't you? The grove's call. You nod, the truth heavy on your tongue. Lila leans forward, her voice urgent. Don't go back out there. Whatever's in the grove, it's not just Clara or Elias. It's something older, something that takes what it wants. You promise to stay away, but the words feel hollow. You thank her and leave the locket in your pocket, its weight a constant reminder. On the walk home, you pass the grove again, and this time you can't help it. You glance at the trees. For a moment, you think you see a shadow move, but it's gone when you blink. Back at the house, you try to distract yourself, cleaning the parlor and organizing Clara's antiques. You find a small wooden box under a table, its lid carved with pine trees. Inside is a single letter, folded tightly, from Elias to Clara, dated the day he died. Meet me tonight, it says. The grove is ready. We'll be together, always. Your stomach twists. Did Clara go to him that night? Is that why she was never the same? You set the letter down, your hands shaking, and notice the locket feels warmer in your pocket, like it's responding to the letter. By evening, the house feels alive, its creaks and sighs blending with the wind outside. You sit in the parlor, the locket on the table, and try to read more of the journal, but your eyes keep drifting to the windows. The grove is out there, waiting, and you feel its pull stronger than ever. You tell yourself you won't go, that you're smarter than this, but your hands are already reaching for your jacket. You grab the flashlight and step outside, the night air sharp against your skin. You're only going to the edge of the grove, you tell yourself, just to see. The pines greet you with their familiar hush, the flashlight beam trembling as you move deeper. You don't mean to go far, but your feet carry you to the stone bench, its names glowing faintly. You sit, the locket heavy in your pocket, and listen. The sigh comes, closer than ever, wrapping around you like a caress. You stand, shining the light into the trees, and see her, the woman in white, standing just beyond the clearing. Her face is clearer now, pale and sad, her eyes locked on yours. You take a step toward her, your voice barely a whisper. "Clara, what do you want?" She doesn't answer, but the sigh grows louder, filling the grove. You feel it in your chest, a longing that isn't yours, a promise you never made. The woman raises a hand, pointing deeper into the trees, and you hesitate, torn between fear and the need to know. You take another step, then stop, Lila's warning ringing in your ears. You turn back, running toward the house, the sigh chasing you until you slam the door shut. Inside, you lean against the wall, gasping, the locket burning against your thigh. You're not sure what you saw, but you know one thing: the grove isn't done with you yet. You sit at the kitchen table, the locket glinting under the morning light, its presence a quiet demand you can't ignore. Last night's encounter in the grove clings to you, the image of the woman in white, her sad eyes, her outstretched hand, pointing deeper into the pines. You barely slept, the sigh echoing in your dreams, blending with Clara's voice, urging you to follow. You tell yourself you're done with the grove, that you'll pack up and leave Pine Grove behind, but your hands tremble as you pour coffee, betraying the truth. You're not ready to let go. You open Clara's journal, seeking something to anchor you. An entry near the end catches your eye. "The grove showed me Elias last night. He was so real, his hand warm in mine. He says we'll be together soon, but his smile scares me. It's not him, not really." You pause, your breath catching. Not him? The words stir a memory of Lila's warning that something older lives in the grove, something that takes what it wants. You close the journal, your eyes drifting to the locket. You pick it up. It's silver cool now, and wonder if it's more than a keepsake, if it's part of whatever holds Clara and Elias here. You need answers, so you head to the diner, hoping Betty knows more. The bell jingles as you enter, the smell of bacon and coffee wrapping around you. Betty's behind the counter, her smile warm but guarded. You sit at a booth, ordering coffee, and ask about the grove, keeping your voice casual. "Folks talk," she says, wiping down the counter. "They say it's a place where promises stick, like sap on your fingers. Clara and Elias made one out there, I reckon." Never heard what it was, but it changed her. You ask about Elias's death, and Betty's eyes narrow. "Car accident, like I said. But some thought he drove off that road on purpose. Too much whiskey, maybe, or something else." You thank her and leave, her words heavy in your mind. Did Elias choose to die? And if so, why does Clara's journal say he was still there? Back at the house, you find the box of letters again, pulling out one from Clara, written a year after Elias's death. "I saw him in the grove," she wrote. "He asked me to stay to keep our promise. I want to, but I'm losing myself." You set it down, your heart racing. The promise, the grove, the locket, it's all connected, and you're starting to feel like you're part of it too. By afternoon, the house feels stifling, its shadows too close. You step outside, intending to clear your head, but your feet lead you to the grove's edge. You stop, staring at the pines, their branches swaying gently. You pull the locket from your pocket, its weight familiar now, and open it. Clara and Elias's faces stare back, their smiles frozen in time. You close your eyes, and the sigh comes, soft, and insistent, like it's calling you by name. You take a step forward, then another, the grove swallowing you whole. The air is cooler here, the light dimmer, the pines closing in like a cathedral. You move deeper, the flashlight forgotten in your pocket, guided by the sigh. You find the stone bench, its names carved like a vow, and sit, the locket in your hand. The sigh grows louder, wrapping around you, and you feel it, a longing that pulls at your heart, a promise you didn't make but somehow share. You look up and she's there, the woman in white, standing just beyond the clearing. Her face is Clara's, pale and weary, her eyes full of sorrow. You stand, your voice shaking. "What do you want from me?" She doesn't speak, but the sigh deepens, and you feel it in your bones, a plea to understand, to finish something left undone. She steps closer, her dress brushing the pine needles, and you see the locket around her neck, identical to the one in your hand. She reaches out, her fingers cold as they graze yours, and you gasp, the world tilting. For a moment you see through her eyes, Elias in the grove, his smile sharp, the pines whispering promises of forever. Then it's gone and you're alone, the locket still in your hand, your breath ragged. You stumble back to the house, the grove's sigh fading behind you. Inside, you collapse on the parlor sofa, the locket on the table, its silver catching the light. You're shaken, but you understand now. Clara's trapped, tied to a promise she made with Elias, a promise the grove won't let her break. You're not sure how you fit in, but you feel her sorrow, her need to be free. You pick up the journal again, flipping to the last entry. "I'm going to the grove tonight. Elias is waiting. I hope I'm strong enough." You close it, your resolve hardening. You can't leave yet, not until you know what happened and what the grove wants from you. You wake to a stillness that feels unnatural, the house holding its breath. The locket lies on the knitstand, its silver catching the faint dawn light, and you can't shake the memory of Clara's touch in the grove, her cold fingers grazing yours, her sorrow flooding your heart. You sit up, your breath visible in the chilly air, and realize you're not just staying to understand Clara and Elias anymore. You're staying because you have to. The grove has woven you into its story, and you feel it, a thread pulling you tighter with every sigh. You dress quickly, the floorboards creaking under your feet, and head downstairs, determined to find answers. You sit at the kitchen table with Clara's journal, the locket beside it, and reread the last entry. "I'm going to the grove tonight. Elias is waiting. I hope I'm strong enough." The words feel like a warning, but also a plea, as if Clara knew she was walking into something she might not escape. You flip back through earlier pages, searching for clues about the promise she and Elias made. One entry stands out. Elias said the grove would keep us forever, that our love would never fade. I promised I'd stay with him, no matter what. Now I wonder if I promised too much. You pause, your fingers tracing the words. A promise of forever, bound by the grove. Is that what's holding her here? You need more than the journal, so you head to the study, where Clara's papers are scattered across the desk. You sift through them, finding bills, receipts, and a small notebook tucked beneath a stack of letters. It's not Clara's handwriting, but Elias's, bold and hurried. "The grove knows us," he wrote. "It's alive, Clara, and it loves us. We'll never be apart." You frown, the words unsettling. Elias didn't just love Clara, he loved the grove, saw it as something more than trees. You keep reading, and a later note chills you. If I go first, I'll wait for you. The grove promised. You set the notebook down, your heart pounding. Did Elias mean death, or something else? You're startled by a knock at the door, soft but insistent. It's Lila, her face pale, a scarf wrapped tightly around her neck despite the mild morning. I had a dream about you, she says, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. You were in the grove, and Clara was with you. She looked scared. You tell her about last night, the vision, the promise in the journal, and Elias's notebook. Lila's eyes widen, and she sits at the table, her hands clasped tightly. I didn't tell you everything, she admits. Clara told me once that Elias made her swear they'd never leave each other, even in death. She thought it was romantic at first, but later she was afraid. Said the grove heard them, and it wouldn't let go. You ask what she means, and Lila leans closer, her voice low. The grove's old, older than Pine Grove itself. People used to say it was a place where vows became real, like the trees held them tight. Clara believed it, and so did Elias. If they promised to stay together, the grove might have taken it literally. You feel a chill, the locket's weight heavy in your pocket. Is that why Clara's still here? Why you keep seeing her? Because the grove won't let her break her promise? The world has gone quiet. Shadows stretch across the walls. Let your thoughts grow soft. A story waits in the stillness. If it brings you peace, like subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss a night. Now let the story find you. You arrive in Pine Grove at dusk, your old pickup rattling over the cracked road. The air smells of damp earth and pine needles, and the town feels like it's holding its breath. You're here because of the letter, the one that came in a yellowed envelope with no return address. It was from your Aunt Clara, who you haven't seen since you were a kid. She's gone now, the letter said, and her house is yours. You don't know why she left it to you, but you're not one to turn down a fresh start. The sky is bruised purple as you pull up to the house, a sagging Victorian with peeling paint and windows like half-closed eyes. You step out, your boots crunching gravel, and feel a prickle on your neck, like someone's watching. Inside, the house is cold, the kind of cold that seeps into your bones. You set your bag down in the foyer, where a dusty chandelier glints faintly. The letter mentioned Clara's collection of antiques, and you see them everywhere, tarnished mirrors, a grandfather clock that stopped ticking, porcelain dolls with chipped faces. You wander into the parlor, where a fireplace gapes like an open mouth. On the mantel is a framed photograph of Clara, younger than you remember, standing in a pine grove with a man you don't recognize. His smile is sharp, and his hand rests on her shoulder. You squint at the faded ink on the back. Clara and Elias, 1963. You're tired from the drive, so you head upstairs to find a bedroom. The stairs creak under your weight, and the hallway is lined with doors, most of them locked. One opens to a small room with a brass bed and a window overlooking the pine trees. You drop onto the mattress, the springs groaning, and try to shake the unease that settled in your chest. The letter didn't say how Clara died, just that it was sudden. You wonder if she was alone in this big house, if she felt the same weight you're feeling now. Sleep doesn't come easy. The house is too quiet, but not the peaceful kind. It's like the silence is waiting for something. You drift off eventually, only to wake with a start. A sound, faint but unmistakable, pulls you upright. It's a sigh, long and mournful, coming from somewhere outside. You stumble to the window, your breath fogging the glass. The pine grove beyond the house is bathed in moonlight, the trees swaying gently. For a moment you think you see a figure among them, pale and indistinct, but when you blink, it's gone. You tell yourself it's just the wind, or maybe a dream clinging to you. But your heart's pounding, and you can't shake the feeling that the sigh wasn't natural. You climb back into bed, pulling the quilt tight, and lie there listening. The house stays silent now, but you know it's not empty. Something lingers here, tied to Clara, maybe to that man in the photograph. You don't believe in ghosts, not really, but you can't deny the chill that settled over you. Morning comes slow, gray light creeping through the curtains. You head downstairs, craving coffee, and find the kitchen surprisingly modern, like Clara tried to keep one foot in the present. You're rummaging for a mug when you hear a knock at the front door. It's sharp, insistent, and you freeze. You're not expecting anyone, and Pine Grove isn't exactly a place for casual visitors. You cross the foyer, your footsteps echoing, and open the door to find a woman standing there. She's about your age, with dark hair tied back, and eyes that seem to see too much. "I'm Lila," she says, her voice soft but steady. "I live down the road. Heard you were coming." She holds out a basket of apples, their skins glossy red. You take it, unsure what to say. Lila glances past you into the house, her expression tightening. "Clara was my friend," she adds. "She'd want me to check on you." There's something in her tone, a warning maybe, but she doesn't elaborate. You thank her and she turns to leave, but not before saying, "Be careful in the grove. It's not as peaceful as it looks." You close the door, the apples heavy in your arms, and wonder what she meant. The sigh from last night echoes in your mind, and you glance toward the window where the pine grove looms. You're not sure you want to find out what's out there, but something tells you the house won't let you ignore it for long. You stand in the kitchen, the basket of apples from Lila still in your hands, their weight grounding you against the unease creeping up your spine. The house feels too big, too still, and the memory of last night's sigh lingers like a half-forgotten dream. You set the basket on the counter and decide to explore, hoping to shake off the strangeness. The morning light filters through the windows, but it does little to warm the rooms. You wander back to the parlor where Clara's photograph with Elias catches your eye again. You pick it up, tracing the edges of their smiles. Who was he? And why does the sight of him make your stomach twist? You move through the house, opening cabinets and drawers, finding nothing but old linens and tarnished silverware. In a study off the hallway, you discover a desk piled with papers, receipts, letters, and a journal bound in cracked leather. You flip it open, the pages yellowed and smelling of dust. Clara's handwriting is neat but hurried, as if she was afraid of being caught. The entries are mundane at first, grocery lists and notes about the weather, but one catches your attention. Elias came by again. "He won't leave me be." The grove calls him, and I'm afraid I'll follow. You frown, rereading the words. The grove. Leela's warning echoes in your mind. You tuck the journal under your arm and head outside, drawn to the pine grove despite yourself. The air is crisp, the trees towering in dense, their needles carpeting the ground. You step into their shade, and the world quiets, the sounds of distant birds fading. Your boots sink into the soft earth as you walk deeper, the pines closing in around you. You tell yourself you're just stretching your legs, but your eyes scan the shadows, half expecting to see that pale figure from last night. A twig snaps behind you, and you spin around, heart racing. Nothing's there, just the endless rows of trees. You laugh softly, trying to calm yourself, but the sound feels hollow. Then you see it, a small clearing ahead, where the pines part to reveal a stone bench, weathered and moss-covered. You approach, noticing carvings on its surface, names etched deep, Clara and Elias. Your fingers brush the letters, and a chill runs through you, sharper than the morning air. You sit, the stone cold against your legs, and try to piece it together. Were they lovers? Friends? The journal's words nag at you, hinting at something darker. You're about to head back when you hear it again, that sigh, soft and aching, like someone grieving. It's closer now, coming from the trees to your left. You stand, your breath catching, and peer into the shadows. The air feels heavy, pressing against your chest. Hello? You call, your voice small, in the vastness of the grove. No answer, but the sigh comes again, fainter, as if retreating. You take a step toward it, then stop. Lila's warning rings in your ears, and you're not sure you're ready to chase whatever this is. Back at the house, you lock the door behind you, feeling foolish but safer inside. You open the journal again, flipping to a later entry. Elias says the grove holds our promises, Clara wrote. I want to believe him, but his eyes aren't the same. They're too bright, like he's not all here. You close the book, your mind buzzing. Promises? What did they promise each other? You're starting to think Clara's death wasn't as simple as the letter made it sound. The day passes slowly. You unpack a few things, trying to make the house feel like yours, but it resists. Every creak and shadow reminding you it belonged to Clara first. By afternoon, you're restless, so you head into town, hoping to learn more about her. Pine Grove is small, just a general store, a diner, and a few scattered houses. You stop at the diner, where the smell of coffee and fried eggs greet you. The waitress, an older woman with a kind smile, pours you a cup. You're Clara's kin, aren't you? She asks, wiping her hands on her apron. You nod, surprised she knows. I'm staying at her house, you say, keeping your tone light. The waitress, whose name tag reads Betty, leans in. Clara was a sweet soul, but she got quiet these last years. Kept to herself, always out in that grove. She pauses, her eyes flickering with something you can't place. Folks say she was looking for someone out there, someone who wasn't coming back. You sip your coffee, the warmth steadying you. Did she ever mention a man named Elias? You ask. Betty's face changes, her smile fading. Elias Harper? Oh, honey, he's been gone a long time. Died in '64, I think. Car accident out by the grove. Broke Clara's heart. You thank her and leave your mind spinning. Elias was dead before Clara wrote about him in her journal. So who or what was she seeing? Back at the house, night falls fast, the sky turning ink black. You sit in the parlor, the journal open on your lap, but you're too distracted to read. The sigh from the grove haunts you, and you keep glancing at the windows, half expecting to see a face. You tell yourself it's just a new place, new sounds, but deep down, you know better. Something's calling you, just like it called Clara, and you're not sure you can resist it much longer. You sit in the parlor, the journal heavy in your lap, its pages whispering secrets you're not sure you want to hear. The house is dark now, save for the flicker of a lamp beside you. Outside, the pine grove looms, its shadows stretching across the lawn like fingers. You try to focus on unpacking, on making this place feel normal, but your thoughts keep drifting to Elias. Dead since 64, Betty said, yet Clara wrote about him years later, as if he were still walking through her door. You shiver, pulling your sweater tighter, and decide to distract yourself by exploring more of the house. You head upstairs, the floorboards groaning under your steps. The locked doors in the hallway taunt you, their knobs refusing to turn. You try each one again, hoping for luck, and one finally gives way with a rusty squeak. The room beyond is small, cluttered with boxes and draped in dust. You step inside, your flashlight beam cutting through the gloom. The air smells stale, like time forgot this place. You open a box, finding old clothes, moth-eaten scarves, and a bundle of letters tied with twine. Your fingers hesitate, but curiosity wins. You untie the bundle and unfold the top letter. It's from Elias, dated 1962. His handwriting is bold, almost reckless. Clara, my heart, it begins. The grove is ours. Meet me tonight where the pines sing. You read on, your pulse quickening. The letter speaks of love, of promises made under moonlight. But there's an edge to it, a desperation that makes your skin prickle. No one else can know, he writes. Not yet. You set it down, your mind racing. What were they hiding? You dig through more letters, each one more fervent, until you find one dated the day before Elias's death. I'll wait for you, it says. Always. You're about to open another when a sound stops you cold. That sigh again, soft and sorrowful, drifting through the open window. You cross to it, your breath shallow, and peer out. The grove is bathed in silver, the pines swaying gently. You strain your eyes, searching for movement, and there it is, a flicker of white among the trees, like a dress catching the light. Your heart lurches, but you don't move. You're not ready to chase it, not yet. You close the window, locking it tight, and sit on the floor, the letters scattered around you. Sleep feels impossible, but you drag yourself to bed, the brass frame creaking as you settle in. You dream of the grove of pines whispering your name, of Elias standing in the clearing, his eyes too bright. You wake with a gasp, sunlight streaming through the curtains. The house feels less oppressive in the morning, but the weight of last night lingers. You head downstairs craving coffee and notice something odd. The front door is ajar. You're sure you locked it. You step outside, scanning the yard, but find nothing out of place. Still, your nerves hum with unease. You decide to visit Lila, hoping she can shed light on Clara and Elias. Her house is a mile down the road, a cozy cottage with wildflowers spilling over the fence. You knock, and she answers, her dark eyes wary but kind. "Didn't expect you so soon," she says, inviting you in. The living room smells of lavender, and you sit on a worn sofa as she pours tea. You tell her about the journal, the letters, and the sigh in the grove, keeping your voice steady despite the knot in your chest. Lila listens, her fingers tightening around her mug. Clara loved Elias, she says finally, more than she should have. He was charming, but wild, always talking about the grove like it was alive. After he died, Clara wasn't the same. She'd wander out there, saying she heard him. Lila pauses, her gaze distant. I told her to let him go, but she couldn't. Or wouldn't. You ask if she ever saw anything strange in the grove, and Lila hesitates. Once, she admits. A shadow moving too fast to be human. I never went back. You thank her and leave, the tea sitting heavy in your stomach. On the walk home, you pass the edge of the grove, its pines casting long shadows across the road. You stop, staring into its depths, and feel a pull, like a thread tugging at your heart. You shake it off and hurry back to the house, locking the door behind you. Inside, you return to the letters, reading until your eyes ache. One stands out, written by Clara after Elias's death. He's still here. I feel him in the grove. I promised I'd find him, and I will. The words chill you. You're starting to understand Clara's obsession, and it scares you how much it mirrors your own growing fixation. You put the letters away and try to focus on practical things. Cleaning, organizing, anything to keep your mind off the grove. But as night falls, the house grows restless. You hear creaks, faint whispers, and once, a soft tap at the window. You don't look. You sit in the parlor, the lamp casting shadows that dance like ghosts, and wonder if Clara felt this same pull, this need to know. You're not sure you can resist it much longer, but you're afraid of what you'll find if you don't. You wake to the sound of wind rattling the windows, the house groaning like it's alive. Last night's unease clings to you, heavy as the quilt draped over your shoulders. You lie still, listening, half expecting that sigh to drift through the walls again. It doesn't, but the silence feels just as unsettling. You drag yourself out of bed, the floor cold against your bare feet, and head downstairs. The front door is still locked, a small relief, but the memory of it standing ajar yesterday gnaws at you. You make coffee, the routine grounding you, and sit at the kitchen table, staring at the basket of apples Lila gave you. They're still glossy, almost too perfect, like they're waiting for something. You can't stop thinking about Clara's letters, about Elias waiting in the grove. You try to focus on practical tasks, unpacking boxes and wiping down dusty shelves, but your mind keeps drifting to the pines outside. You avoid the windows, not wanting to see the grove, but it's like the trees are watching you. By midday, you're restless, the house feeling smaller, its walls pressing in. You grab Clara's journal and flip to a new entry, hoping for answers. Elias says the grove keeps us, she wrote. I don't know what he means, but I feel it too, like I'm part of it now. You snap the book shut, your heart thudding. Part of it? The words feel like a warning. You need air, so you step onto the porch, the noon sun doing little to warm the chill in your bones. The grove looms across the yard, its shadows shifting as clouds pass overhead. You tell yourself you're not going in, not today, but your feet move anyway, carrying you toward the trees. The pine needles crunch under your boots, and the air grows cooler, thicker, as you cross into the grove. You find the stone bench again, its carved names stark in the daylight. You sit, running your fingers over Clara and Elias's names, and feel that pull again, stronger now, like a voice whispering your name. A rustle breaks your thoughts, and you turn expecting a squirrel or a bird. Instead, you see a figure in the distance, pale and blurred, standing among the pines. Your breath catches, and you stand squinting. It's a woman, her dress white and flowing, her hair long and dark. She's too far to make out her face, but she's watching you. You take a step forward, your voice stuck in your throat, and she moves, gliding deeper into the grove. Wait. You call, but she's gone, swallowed by the trees. Your pulse races, and you hesitate, torn between chasing her and running back to the house. You choose the house, your steps quick and uneven. Inside, you lock the door and lean against it, catching your breath. Was that Clara? Or just your imagination, stirred up by letters and stories? You don't know, but you're shaken. You head to the study, pulling out more of Elias's letters. One catches your eye, written in a hurried scroll. Clara, we can't tell anyone. The grove binds us, but it's jealous. It won't let me go. You frown, the words sinking in. Jealous? You're not sure what he meant, but it feels like the grove is more than just trees. You're startled by a knock at the door, sharp and sudden. You open it to find Lila, her face pale, a scarf wrapped tightly around her neck. I saw you go into the grove, she says, her voice low. You shouldn't be out there. You invite her in, and she sits at the kitchen table, her hands fidgeting. You ask about the woman in the grove, describing what you saw, and Lila's eyes widen. Clara wore a white dress sometimes, she says, but she's gone. You know that. You nod, but you're not so sure anymore. Lila tells you more about Elias. He was trouble, she says, stirring her tea. Charming, but he had a hold on Clara. They'd meet in the grove, always at night. After he died, she swore he was still there, waiting for her. I thought she was grieving, but she trails off, her gaze drifting to the window. Sometimes I wonder if she was right. You ask about the grove, why it feels so strange, and Lila hesitates. Old folks say it's special, she says. A place where promises don't break, even after death. Clara believed it. Maybe too much. She leaves soon after, urging you to stay out of the grove. You promise you will, but the lie tastes bitter. You spend the afternoon reading more letters, each one pulling you deeper into Clara and Elias's story. They were in love, that much is clear, but something went wrong, something tied to the grove. By evening, you're exhausted, but sleep feels far away. You sit in the parlor, the lamp casting long shadows, and listen to the house creak. The sigh comes again, faint but unmistakable, drifting from the grove. You don't go to the window this time. You're afraid of what you'll see, but more afraid of what you're starting to feel. A need to know, to follow, to find whatever's waiting out there. You sit in the parlor, the lamp's glow barely holding back the darkness that seems to seep from the walls. The sigh from the grove lingers in your mind, a sound that feels like it's pulling at your edges, unraveling you. You try to focus on the journal in your hands, but Clara's words blur together, her obsession with Elias and the grove mirroring the restlessness growing inside you. You set the book aside and pace the room, your footsteps echoing in the quiet house. The air feels heavy, like it's waiting for you to make a move. You know you should stay inside, lock the doors, and ignore the grove. But the pull is stronger now, a quiet insistence that hums. You grab a flashlight and your jacket, telling yourself you're just going to look, not wander too far. The night is cold, the moon half hidden behind clouds as you step onto the porch. The grove looms ahead, its pines swaying like they're beckoning you. You hesitate, Lila's warning and Clara's letters flashing through your mind, but your feet move anyway, carrying you across the yard. The ground is soft under your boots, pine needles muffling your steps as you enter the grove. The flashlight beam dances over the trees, casting shadows that twist and flicker. You tell yourself you're being foolish, that there's nothing here, but your heart pounds all the same. You find the stone bench again, its carved names glowing faintly in the moonlight. You sit, the cold seeping through your jeans, and listen. The grove is silent at first, but then it comes. That sigh, soft and mournful, drifting from deeper within the trees. You stand, your flashlight shaking slightly in your hand, and call out, "Who's there?" Your voice sounds small, swallowed by the pines. No answer, but the sigh comes again, closer now, like it's circling you. You take a step toward it, your breath visible in the chilly air, and see a flicker of white between the trees. It's her again, the woman in the white dress. She's closer this time, her outline sharper, her hair dark and flowing. You freeze, your pulse loud in your ears. She doesn't move, just stands there, her head tilted as if listening. You want to run, but your feet feel rooted, like the grove is holding you in place. "Clara?" You whisper, the name slipping out before you can stop it. The figure shifts, and for a moment you think you see her face, pale and familiar, like the photograph on the mantel. Then she's gone, vanishing into the shadows. You stumble back to the bench, your breath ragged. The grove feels alive now, the pines whispering in the wind, their branches brushing against each other like secrets. You shine your flashlight around, but there's nothing, just trees and darkness. You're about to leave when you notice something on the bench, something that wasn't there before, a small silver locket, its chain tangled in the moss. You pick it up, your fingers trembling, and open it. Inside is a tiny photograph of Clara and Elias, their faces pressed close, smiling like they're sharing a secret. You shove the locket in your pocket and hurry back to the house, the grove's sigh following you like a shadow. Inside, you lock the door and lean against it, your heart still racing. You pull out the locket, studying it under the kitchen light. The photograph is faded, but their eyes are bright, almost too bright, like they're looking through you. You set it on the table, unsure what to do with it, and grab Clara's journal, flipping to a new entry. "Elias gave me a locket," she wrote. "He said it's our bond, that the grove will keep it safe. I wear it always, but it feels heavy now, like it's pulling me under." You look at the locket again, its silver glinting like a warning. You're starting to feel it too, that weight, like the grove is weaving itself into you. You try to sleep, but the house is restless, creaking and shifting. You dream of Clara standing in the grove, her dress white and flowing, her hands reaching for you. When you wake, it's still dark and the locket is on your nightstand, though you're sure you left it in the kitchen. You stare at it, your stomach twisting. Did you move it and forget? Or did something else? Morning brings no relief. You head to town, needing distance from the house. At the general store, you buy some supplies, and the clerk, an older man with a weathered face, recognizes you as Clara's kin. "Heard you're staying at her place," he says, bagging your groceries. "Careful out there." That grove's got stories. You ask what he means, and he leans in, his voice low. Folks say it holds on to things. Promises, people, whatever's left behind. Clara knew it. Maybe too well. You nod, thanking him, and leave the locket heavy in your pocket. Back at the house, you sit with the journal and the locket, piecing together Clara and Elias's story. They were bound by something the grove claimed. You're not sure if you believe in ghosts, but you can't deny what you've seen, what you've felt. The sigh, the woman, the locket, it's all pulling you deeper, and you're starting to wonder if you're meant to find something, or if something's trying to find you. You wake with a start, the locket's cold silver pressed against your palm. You don't remember picking it up, but there it is, clutched in your hand like you were holding it all night. The house is quiet, the early morning light filtering through the curtains, but your heart races, the dream still vivid. Clara in her white dress, standing in the grove, her eyes pleading, as she whispered your name. You sit up, shaking off the chill, and set the locket on the knit stand, its tiny photograph of Clara and Elias staring back. You tell yourself it's just a dream, just the house getting under your skin, but the weight in your chest says otherwise. Lila leaves, urging you to burn the locket and stay out of the grove. You nod, but you know you can't. Not yet. You spend the day poring over Elias's notebook, finding more cryptic notes about the grove's power, its jealousy, its hunger for promises. By evening, you're exhausted, but the pull is stronger than ever. You stand at the parlor window, staring at the grove, its pines dark against the twilight sky. The sigh comes, soft and aching, and you feel it in your chest, a longing that's not entirely yours. You grab the locket and your flashlight, your resolve hardening. You need to face this to understand what Clara wants. You step into the grove, the air thick and cool, the pines whispering as you move deeper. The flashlight beam trembles, but you keep going, drawn to the stone bench. You sit, the locket in your hand, and wait. The sigh grows louder, circling you, and you see her, Clara, standing in the clearing, her white dress glowing faintly. Her eyes are desperate now, her hands clasped as if in prayer. You have to break it, she whispers, her voice clear for the first time, echoing in your mind. You hold up the locket, your voice shaking. This? The promise? She nods, stepping closer, and you feel her sorrow, her regret, her need to be free. You open the locket, staring at their faces, and hesitate. Breaking it feels wrong, like betraying their love, but you know it's what Clara wants. You close your eyes, and the sigh deepens, the grove's presence pressing against you. You feel Elias too, not his face, but his will, sharp and insistent, urging you to keep the locket, to honor their vow. You stand, torn, the locket burning in your hand. Clara's eyes plead with you, and you take a step back toward the house, unsure if you're strong enough to do what she asks. The grove sighs again, softer now, as if it knows you'll return. You stumble back to the house, the locket clutched tightly in your hand, its edges digging into your palm. Clara's whispered plea, "You have to break it," echoes in your mind, battling the grove's sigh that still hums in your chest. You lock the door behind you, the click loud in the silent house, and sink onto the parlor sofa, your breath uneven. The locket feels heavier now, alive almost, as if it's carrying Clara and Elias's promise inside it. You set it on the table, its silver glinting under the lamp, and stare at it, torn between fear and the need to end this. You're not sure what breaking it means, but you know it's what Clara wants, what she's been trying to tell you. You reach for Clara's journal, hoping for clarity. The pages are worn, some sticking together, but you find an entry that makes your heart skip. I tried to leave the locket in the grove, to let Elias go, but it was back in my room by morning. The grove won't let me break my promise. You pause, glancing at the locket, its presence taunting you. Did Clara try to free herself and fail? You flip to another page, one of the last. Elias isn't himself anymore. He's part of the grove now, and it wants me too. I'm sorry, Elias. I can't stay. The words hit you hard. Clara wanted out, but something, maybe Elias, maybe the grove, wouldn't let her go. You stand, pacing the parlor, the house creaking around you like it's listening. You need to understand the grove's hold. So you dig through Elias's notebook again, its pages filled with his fevered handwriting. One note stands out. The grove keeps what's promised. It's eternal, Clara, don't you see? We'll never be apart. You shiver, realizing Elias didn't just love Clara. He believed the grove was there forever, a place where their vow would bind them beyond death. But Clara's fear, her regret, tells you she saw it differently, saw it as a trap. Morning light creeps through the windows, but it does little to ease the weight on your shoulders. You decide to visit the town library, hoping for local history that might explain the grove. The library is small, its shelves crammed with dusty books and yellowed newspapers. The librarian, a quiet woman with wire-rimmed glasses, points you to a section on Pine Grove's folklore. You find a thinned book, its cover faded, titled Legends of the Pines. You flip through it, your eyes catching on a chapter about the grove. It describes it as a place where vows made under the pines are sealed by the land itself, unbreakable even in death. Your stomach twists. The book mentions couples who swore love in the grove, only to be haunted by it, their promises turning into chains. You borrow the book and head home, the locket still in your pocket, its warmth unsettling. You sit in the kitchen, the book open, and read more. The grove's power, the book says, comes from something ancient, a spirit or force that thrives on devotion. It doesn't judge the promise, only holds it tight. You think of Clara and Elias, their love turned into something heavy, eternal in a way they didn't expect. You wonder if breaking the locket will free Clara, or if it will anger the grove, maybe even Elias. By afternoon, you're restless, the house too quiet, the grove too loud in your thoughts. You step outside, intending to stay on the porch, but the sigh drifts from the pines, soft and insistent, pulling you forward. You tell yourself you're not going far, just to the edge, but your feet carry you into the grove, the locket burning in your pocket. The pines close around you, their needles soft under your boots, and you find the stone bench, its carved names like a gravestone. You sit, the locket in your hand, and feel the grove's presence, heavy and watchful. The sigh comes again, louder, and you see her, Clara, standing in the clearing, her white dress catching the fading light. Her eyes are desperate, her hands clasped tightly. "Break it," she whispers, her voice clear in your mind. "Please." You hold up the locket, your fingers trembling. "How?" you ask, your voice barely audible. She steps closer, her form flickering, and points to the bench, to the names carved in stone. You look down, confused, and notice a small crack in the stone, barely visible. Is that where the promise lives, in the carving, in the locket? You hesitate, the grove's sigh growing heavier, and you feel another presence, sharper, colder, Elias, not as a figure but a force, urging you to keep the locket, to honor their vow. You stand, your heart pounding, and clutch the locket tighter. Clara's eyes plead with you, and you take a step toward the bench, raising the locket as if to smash it against the stone. But you stop, fear flooding you. What if breaking it traps you too? You lower your hand, backing away, and Clara's face falls, her form fading into the pines. The sigh softens, disappointed, and you run back to the house, the locket still in your hand, its weight heavier than ever. You stumble into the house, your breath ragged, the locket burning in your hand like a coal. Clara's fading figure and her whispered plea, break it, haunt you, but so does the cold weight of Elias's presence, urging you to keep their promise intact. You collapse onto the parlor sofa, the locket on the table, its silver catching the dim light. The house is quiet, but it's not peaceful. It's waiting, just like the grove outside. You feel caught, trapped between Clara's desperation to be free and the grove's insistence that you honor a vow you never made. Your hands shake as you pick up the locket, its tiny photograph of Clara and Elias staring back, their smiles frozen in a moment that feels like a warning. You open Clara's journal one last time, searching for anything to guide you. The final entry is short, scrawled in a trembling hand. I went to the grove. Elias is there, but he's not alone. The pines are watching. I'm sorry. You close the book, your heart heavy. Clara knew she was walking into something final, something the grove wouldn't let her escape. You think of the library book, its tales of promises sealed in the pines, and realize this is your last chance to decide, break the locket and free Clara, or let the grove keep its hold. You stand, pacing the parlor, the floorboards creaking under your weight. The sigh drifts through the window, soft and mournful, pulling at you. You know you can't stay in this house, in this town, without facing the grove one last time. You grab a hammer from the kitchen drawer, its weight steadying you, and slip the locket into your pocket. You step outside, the night air sharp, the pines looming under a sky pricked with stars. Your boots crunch across the yard and you enter the grove, the trees closing around you like a vow of their own. The air is thick, the sigh louder now, wrapping you in its longing. You reach the stone bench, its carved names glowing faintly in the moonlight. You kneel, running your fingers over the crack in the stone, the one Clara pointed to. You feel her presence, faint but urgent, and Elias is too, heavy and unyielding. You pull the locket from your pocket, its silver warm, and hold it over the bench. Your heart pounds and you whisper, Clara, I'm trying. The sigh deepens, and you see her standing in the clearing, her white dress shimmering, her eyes full of hope and fear. You raise the hammer, your arm trembling, and hesitate. Elias's presence presses against you, cold and insistent, whispering of promises kept, of love that never fades. But Clara's gaze holds you, her sorrow a weight you can't ignore. You bring the hammer down, smashing the locket against the stone. The metal cracks, the photograph inside splitting, and the grove trembles, the sigh rising to a wail. You hit it again, and the bench cracks further, the carved names splitting apart. Clara's form brightens, her face softening, and you feel her relief, her gratitude like a warmth in your chest. The sigh fades, replaced by a sudden stillness, the pines no longer whispering. You look up, and Clara is gone, her presence lifted. But you feel Elias too, fainter now, retreating into the trees. The locket lies broken, its pieces scattered across the bench, and you stand, your breath steady for the first time in days. The grove feels different, lighter, as if it's let go of something it held too long. You turn back to the house, the hammer heavy in your hand, and know you've done what Clara needed, what you were called here to do. Inside you pack your things, the house quieter now, its shadows less oppressive. You leave the journal and the broken locket on the kitchen table, their story finished. You glance out the window one last time, the grove standing silent under the moon, no longer calling you. You lock the door behind you and drive away, the road stretching into the night, pine grove fading in your rearview mirror. You're not sure what comes next, but you feel lighter, like you've left a piece of yourself with Clara, a piece that was never really yours. Some stories stay with us long after the words fade. Let this one rest beside you. Sleep deeply, and if it returns in your dreams, perhaps it was never truly gone.